everyone, and welcome to an all-new episode of the LoudCasa Talks. My name is Nate, and alongside is my good buddy Omid.
Hey, what's up, Loud Crown and Casa crew? How y'all doing? Hope y'all had a fantastic Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, I was just wondering, it's been a while since we actually talked. Memorial Day weekend just happened. How's your Memorial Day weekend been?
Oh, my Memorial weekend has been pretty fun. So I got together with a friend of mine on Friday. We went to a ramen place, one of my favorite ramen places called Yokohama. It's really good, really delicious.
I know that place. That ramen place is good.
And then after that, we chilled at my place and pretty much had a fun time like the whole day. And also on Monday, my mom's gym held a memorial barbecue. It's the gym my mom goes to, and she said that, and the gym said that she could bring a guest over, and so she brought me, obviously. So, we had fun. I had fun dipping in the pool and eating some good cheeseburgers and playing some games.
Oh, that sounds good. Sounds good. So my Memorial Day weekend, I was over at my sister's place. She lives in Sacramento, which is like 2 hours away. We had a fun time over there. Chill with my sister. Hanged out over at like whatever happens in downtown Sacramento. I just realized downtown Sacramento doesn't really have much to do, but I have a couple of friends that are also there as well. So I visited with them, said hi to them actually personally, since we actually are getting off the COVID thing soon, which I'm pretty happy about. Meeting other people again without the masks, and it just feels so good. But the other thing too is that this week was also Fanime weekend, and Fanime. We always have our times where we always go to Fanime. Surprisingly, I've seen people who actually did go to Fanime. Like, they literally just went outside the San Jose Convention Center and just had a fun time. I'm like, I'm jealous, actually. I'm really jealous. I should have actually went with you guys. Yeah. Did you feel the same way, too? Or you just you're okay with the Memorial Day weekend?
Oh, no. I miss Fanime also, but, I like to go to downtown San Jose when the event's actually happening myself. So,
I mean, downtown San Jose isn't bad as long as you have like your crew with you. It seems like everybody was actually having a fun time, just meeting up with everybody again. It's technically a huge reunion. The fact that COVID is, lifted up here in the United States, and it just feels good to meet up with everybody again. It feels so good.
The thing is, none of my friends went to downtown San Jose, so it's like, okay, I'll just chill.
We're huge Fanime fans. We should go to downtown San Jose.
Oh man.
Anyways, if you don't know what we're talking about, every Memorial Day weekend, me and Omid go to this thing called Fanime Con. It's a downtown convention. We're huge anime fans. I mean, look at my freaking background. Huge anime stuff there.
we're gaming fans too. We're video game fans. Look at my hat. Look at my Mario hat.
Yeah, I know. So if you love anime and go to California, head over to Fanime Con because it's a huge con. And if you actually do go there, I can't wait to see you guys if you actually do come back in 2022. That is. All right, enough small talk. Let's actually talk about today's episode reviews and previews. Next is going to be a long one because we have a lot of episodes to actually talk about. We have 2 Loud House episodes. We have 1 Loud House special. We have 1 Casagrandes special. And of course, we also are going to preview the brand new Casagrandes episodes coming out this Friday or tomorrow, which is Saving Face and Matters of the Cart. But let's actually start off with the first episode called Grub Snub. So here's our synopsis here. When Lenny and her friends started hanging out at Gus's Games and Grub, Lincoln and the gang started a turf war for control. So first thing that comes to mind is how surprised that you were able to see Lenny's squad in a place called Gus's Games and Grub.
It was actually quite unexpected because honestly, you never really pictured Lenny, any of her friends, as the, Games and Grub sort of people. They're the type that usually hang out at a mall, but then they brought up the fact that their favorite place called Dim Sum is closed, and I'm just like, you do realize that a mall is where many places are open, right? I mean, if not Dim Sum, maybe you could try something else.
You could have used something else than just a little old restaurant, but then again, like, it was their go-to place. If you remember, what is it? Leader of the Rack, Lenny, Fiona, and Miguel both love this dim sum place, and apparently that's their favorite dim sum place. I love the fact that they actually continued from that. I'm like, oh, really? That dim sum place is actually really good for you guys, and then it closed down a year later.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I wonder what happened to that place, but Honestly, if I had to pick like a loud sister and a group of friends who would be perfect for Gus's Games of Grub customers other than Lincoln and his friends, I would have to say like Lynn and her friends
Yeah,
because
I think. Well, you've seen them before in what was it? What was it? Singled Out. They love the video games also, so I mean, they would fit in for Gus's Games of Grub.
exactly. So I felt it would have made more sense if it was Lynn and her friends compete with Lincoln and his friends to take the Games of Grub spot instead of Lenny.
Yeah, but the other thing too is like it's kind of a little experimental to actually have Lenny. Lenny and her friends actually be join in on a part like Gus's Games and Grub. I never expected to actually see that. I guess. Well, the other thing too is like one of them really likes it, Miguel, from what we saw. Apparently,
he loves that rip hardcore waffle iron. And
yeah, I know. Well, he wants more of the rip hardcore stuff, so it kind of like makes you feel bad for like Clyde and Lincoln who love it. So
I'm not gonna lie, it sort of makes me wanna. It sort of makes me want a waffle iron on my own. I'm just saying.
Well, now I kind of want to compete for it. Now let's go to round one again, Omid.
Let's go. That waffle iron's mine, boy.
No, more like that Nendoroid is mine. By the way, we talk about Lenny, Fiona, and Miguel, but there's other two characters that also did appear in this episode. Andy and Jackie?
Yes.
Really?
Yes,
These two made it?
Yes,
wait. How long has it been?
Oh my God.
Since we've seen these two?
Finally.
How long has it been?
It's about time. You actually listen to us. You keep listening to our concerns. You keep delivering for us, and we just love it. Thank you, Loud House creators. Thank you, Loud House writers. We love you. Jackie and Mandy are back, people. Jackie and Mandy are back.
No, it's just interesting because it's like, wow, we always talk about Miguel and Fiona a lot, but now we're going back to Everyone Loves Lenny, and actually you brought Jackie and Mandy back. So I'm like, oh, okay, we have Lenny's best friends again. Okay, this is great. The continuation actually works here.
Yeah, it's a continuity too, because like Miguel and Fiona and Jackie and Mandy, like they're no longer fighting against each other. Like they're pretty much all one big happy squad.
Yeah, I'm guessing I think ever since Everyone Loves Lenny, they actually do love it. They actually do like each other as friends. It's great. But the other thing too is like now next week, now you have to fill the holes. I'm like, wow, where has Jackie and Mandy been for so long? Have they been in high school with Lenny? But this never, never came up in an episode of the Loud House. There's just a lot to explain there. But yeah, how did you feel about? Well, so I want to ask you, Amit, how do you feel about them returning to the Loud House?
Oh, I was very excited for them returning to the Loud House, honestly, because I've stated before that when you write Jackie and Mandy off the show like altogether, you sort of make the conflict between Lenny's work friends and Lenny's school friends a bit pointless in terms of the show going onwards after Everybody Loves Lenny, because it's like when you keep showing one group of friends but not the other, you might as well have Miguel and Fiona, be the winners instead of Lenny having to choose between the friends that she sees the most versus the friends she doesn't see all that often, or at least we don't see often. So I'm glad that they finally acknowledge that Jackie and Mandy are actually play significant roles in Lenny's lives too, as school friends and his friends in general. So I'm really glad that they decided to write back Jackie and Mandy back. They finally listened to us.
They finally did listen to us. Well, the other thing too is that you know what, we have at least our list of like amazing friends to come back. I just love the fact that they just continued from the whole episode of Everyone Loves Lenny. So I'm just surprised. I'm like, wow, we finally got the episode back, and I'm like, okay, so from Everyone Loves Lenny now it goes back to Grub Snub. Now I just hope we get more appearances of Jackie and Mandy again. That just tells you that hopefully they could become a staple for Lenny's squad, and I'm pretty sure Lenny's squad is pretty much those five now. Anyways, so let's continue on. Besides talking about Jackie and Mandy all day. So did you like how Lincoln wanted Lenny's squad out of Gus's?
Honestly, while it is a bit selfish, you got to keep in mind, Gus's Games of Grub, it ain't big enough for both big squads. Okay, I'm just saying. So of course, Lincoln has Gus's Games of Grub as his ultimate hangout. When he wants to have a fun time with friends, sort of like escape on the problems. It's the reason why, like Lincoln is to Games of Grubs what Homer is to Moe's Tavern. It's like an ultimate friends hangout. So, of course, Lincoln claims it as his territory. Of course, he's got to defend it from any of his other siblings, because at the end of the day, it's their turf.
It is their turf and all, but I mean, kind of weirdly weird. I think it's just more of like Lincoln trying to like grow up and all. Like, yeah, he's in 6th grade and they've been in Gus's Games and Grub for so long that having a squad like Lenny to come in is like quite interesting. But at the same time, why don't you like welcome him? I'm like, you never. Then again, like when I looked at the whole episode, it just makes you feel like Lenny's squad is pretty much taking over Gus's Games and Grub, and Lincoln is the one who's just like, I can't take this anymore. I want them out. So he had to be the one to actually set up like these plans, set up these like games in order for Lenny to like leave. I mean, he pretty much like did a lot of things where like they made Clyde dress up as one of the waitresses. They made Lenny taste like bad ice, and at the same time they did all these plans, and unfortunately they were still unable to get them out. So I don't know. It just feels like Lincoln was a little bit selfish for actually just like having just one group come in to help. I mean, one group to come in to at least enjoy the fun as much like as Lincoln and the squad is doing too.
Yeah. Honestly, I have to quite agree. But like I said, I can understand how Lincoln feels, but at the same time, he did come off a bit harsh towards Lenny.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of it's sort of a mix. It's sort of a I don't know. You can see the good and bad aspects of Lincoln's actions. Like you can understand it, but at the same time, you can't really 100% side with it either.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so Lincoln has his plans where he wants to like get Lenny's squad out of the Gus's Games of Grub, where Lincoln like put bad ice on Lenny. There was Lincoln trying to trying to like section off the arcade, but then Lenny's squad is like thinking these are all VIPs, so let's go ahead and play along. and then he continued to with Lincoln's plan not working out, he made up this setup competition where all of his friends like competed to stay in Gus's Games and Grub. Explain your thought. Like, so they're trying to get Lenny's squad out, but the other thing too is that with all the games that they played, they actually destroyed Gus's Games and Grub and actually got themselves out. So explain your thoughts about what happened during these like 7 games that Lincoln and Lenny's squad were playing.
Oh my god, yeah. It was so fun to see them compete against each other through arcade games. And when they get competitive like real fast. They hit the mallet hitting game, the flying game, of course, the Dance Revolution game where they try to dance their butts off. And then that's actually what ends up causing madness and causing destruction of the arcades. Just the fact that Gus tried to warn them about playing too hard with the Dance Revolution, thus causing a burnout. Yeah, honestly. And
the other thing too is that throughout the games, Gus continues to get hurt too. So I'm like, okay, this is just like foreshadowing. It's like, okay, so Gus is gonna suffer in the end, right?
Yeah, poor guy, man. Poor guy.
Yeah. Anything else you want to bring in for that discussion, or?
Yes, I will have to say, everyone, please comment below. Are you Team Lincoln or Team Lenny?
Okay, so everyone in the chat is gonna probably put up like Team Lincoln or Lenny, I guess. I felt like I look, they're being competitive, and of course Lenny and Lincoln doesn't want to have. They're like competing. They understand like Lenny took over Lincoln's spot, and Lincoln wanted to just say, "Hey, we don't want this to happen, so let's fight for it." And they ended up fighting for it. Look, the games are actually all fun. Like I saw Miguel continuing to become a gamer. Look, he did a lot of things, like played that playing game, and also played that what is it, the elf smashing game. He ended up winning a couple of those games. Then like you have Lincoln and Lenny trying to compete for like chicken wings, for example, which of course Lincoln won. You got Stella, who's actually doing great in skee ball, which I thought was really cool for her. And then you got Leah.
Stella's a skee ball queen.
I call her the skee ball queen. So yeah. And look, they were all fun. Like all those 7 games that they played were all great. Of course, they ended up with the last game where they all played Dance Dance Revolution, and I hate the fact that like all of them like danced in the same like dance band, which obviously caused them to fight, and then destroyed Gus's games group, which I thought was like that's a little out of control. I didn't expect that to happen, but really, did they really have to actually like go on a fight and actually destroy Gus's? I didn't expect that to happen. Look, it's just a spot. Why would you fight for Gus's games and grub and then end up like destroying Gus's games and grub at the same time?
Yeah, honestly, another thing too is I love the animation. I love the red-faced animation that Lincoln and Lenny had while they were eating the wings. I was like, yeah, honestly, the Loud House animators really nailed the red faces. It was just, good use of red color,
I guess. Well, then again, these guys are working really well on like the animation and stuff. But then again, like the designs of the characters have been improving, especially here in this season.
Yeah, definitely. They feel more expressive. They're more expressive.
Yeah, exactly, which is good. Which I thought was like really good to showcase the fact that they are doing better in the animation for the Loud House. So first off, yeah, that happened. Gus's got destroyed, and then of course both of them got kicked out. But at the end, all of them would clean up Gus's games and grub. It would end up with a resolution having the 2 groups hanging together. How'd you like the ending of this episode?
Honestly, I really liked the ending. It was so good to see them make peace and eat together. However, there's just one small problem that I have with it, and that is its closing shot. Because the thing with closing shots, here's the thing. Closing shots actually matter much more than you think, because they leave a lasting impression on an episode or movie or piece of media. They showed that last impressions could be as important as first impressions. They're what carry an episode or movie or TV show. They're what make it end on a high note. And I feel that there's this forced gag where Lincoln and Lenny are like springing up in the air and then comedically, flying outside. I was just like, did we really need that? Because I feel that it would have ended much better had they have just been sitting together and just going, cheers to Games of Grub, cheers. Because here's the thing. Now the Loud House is known for its comedic closing shots, its gags. But the thing is, though, is that there are times where they've had some touching closing shots as well. Like they didn't need a forced gag or anything. In fact, like most of my favorite closing shots are the ones that don't end in a gag. For example, Head Poet's Anxiety, Perfect Gig, Racing Hearts, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like Grub Snub had the opportunity to follow suit when it comes to ending without a forced gag, but I feel like it sort of went the route of, since it's a Loud House episode, it's a funny show, we gotta end it in a gag note somewhere. That's the thing.
Ended in a funny note, but I don't think that was like really funny. It was more like if they actually not had them like spring up at their seats and like get them hanging in those like one of those windmills and actually force them out of Gus's games and grub. I think that if they actually cut that out, that would have actually been like a much more better like ending. Like have those guys just all sit together in that new table and just eat a pizza with Gus. That would have been like the best ending shot. Maybe at the end they would actually like play video games together. Like maybe have the squads like team up and actually like compete for tickets and win prizes. Maybe that would have been a perfect ending shot. But that one was like, this is really too corny. Are you really going that route and actually just making Lincoln and Lenny just like swing their way out of Gus's games and grub?
Exactly.
I like the gag that Lincoln put up. It's like, yeah, we'll take our pizza to go. Get it?
Oh God. Yeah, and honestly, like it's the fact that the gag itself I felt was forced and wasn't really needed. The thing is with Loud House, without house episodes that do end in a gag, they're usually funny. This is one of those cases where it's like not so much. It was way too forced. It was it didn't flow well with the rest of the episode. That's why I didn't care for that joke. That's just me.
Yeah, and I kind of didn't really feel about like how like I said, the ending of it was. I mean, the episode looked great, competing with like two squads for a property. But of course, I kind of felt like the resolution was going to happen anyway, where they're both going to be like hanging out at Gus's Games and Grub anyway. It just felt like that ending shot was like, why? Why
do we need that? What the flip?
Exactly.
What did I just watch? What the flip? What did I just watch?
All right. So, anything else you want to put up in this episode?
Yes. Like other than what we just talked about, I did thoroughly enjoy this episode. It was good to see Lincoln and his friends sort of like go into a civil war sort of thing with Lenny and her friends, and it was fun to see them compete in many different arcade games. It sort of makes me want to go to an arcade game and win myself a waffle iron.
We've done that before.
I want to go, but I want to go again. That's the thing. Like, thanks this episode.
Maybe this weekend. Let's meet up again this weekend. Let's go play some more video games or arcade games.
Maybe.
Oh, okay. we'll talk after the show.
All right, man. Like, as for this episode, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, really? A 9 out of 10?
Or maybe an 8.5. I think an 8.5 or 2.
Okay.
8.5 out of 10. Like I felt that, like I said, there could have been a Loud sister who was better suited for this kind of role, but what they did with Lenny and her friends, I felt they did really well. Again, kudos to bringing Jackie and Mandy back. Thank you so much. And I love the competitive aspect, them competing arcade games and stuff. And Miguel is one hell of a gamer. Miguel himself is one hell of a gamer. So I kind of want to see more of that gamer Miguel.
Well, Miguel is one really colorful character that I really would love to hang out with, if he was actually real.
Yeah, me too. He's the kind of friend he's the kind of guy I would be friends with.
Oh yeah, me too. Now, I kind of felt like this was, like I said, a little corny. Thank you for bringing back Jackie and Mandy, because I swear to God, we needed some continuation. And the thing is, like, we were kind of wondering who Lenny's friends were. We were thinking Becky would come back or Data would come back, and then out of the blue it was Jackie and Mandy, and I'm like, okay, now we're actually going somewhere with an episode. Actually called back Everyone Loves Lenny, so I'm like, okay, cool. We brought back Jackie and Mandy, and I swear to God, we need more Jackie and Mandy episodes now. And the competitive competition was great and all. Like I said, I kind of felt like this episode was already like giving it out already, that they're going to like compete for the spot of Gus's, and they ended up like working together to actually make Gus's their new home. And the ending, like I said, it was very corny. I was very questionable about it. Like I said, it was a little bit predictable for me when I watched this episode. But I still enjoyed it. I love Lenny's friends. I love Lincoln's friends, and I love the fact that both of them actually, were in this episode. But I gotta give this an 8 out of 10. Like I said, the ending I think was the one that kind of got me. I'm like, if they actually did make the ending like a little bit more subtle than something corny, then they would have put it up to like 8.5. But no, for me, it's an 8. Not one of the best episodes, but to say the least, it was pretty enjoyable. All right. So let's move on to our next episode called She's All Bat. The synopsis here is Lucy gets jealous of Lola's newfound attention after she joins the Morticians Club. So the club needed the 7th member after the rules were disband them if they don't have one. Hence their search for their 7th member, which would fail for them. They had this little sequence where the Morticians Club is going to like every member of their elementary school, trying to get them to join the Morticians Club. How'd you like that little sequence there?
I really liked having Lucy in the Morticians Club. again, I've always enjoyed Lucy and her Morticians Club. And when I found out that apparently there was this amendment of 1875 going around that apparently they need 7 members, I'm just like, okay, when did that become a thing? Because they were doing just fine like earlier, but whatevs.
Yeah, it was more of it was more of Principal Huggins just finding through his old books, seeing an act saying like you need a 7th member or else your club will be disbanded, I guess.
Yeah, that was weird. It was like, okay, but how old was that book exactly? Because some things
1800s, like 1800s, it's a class act of 1840 something.
Because here's the thing, there are like some acts, like some old acts and old books can be outdated. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but apparently he just wanted. I don't know. I just feel like Principal Huggins just has a thing for the Morticians Club. Maybe it's just a continuation with Sandcastles, where the Morticians Club was trying to like cancel their beach trip or something. Maybe Principal Huggins hated that, and that's why he wanted to disband the Morticians Club or something. Of course, that's going overboard, but that's my little prediction. But anyways, yeah, Principal Huggins said they needed a 7th member. So what they did was ask pretty much anybody around to let them join the Morticians Club. What I found so surprising is that one of the characters looked like Girl Jordan. I'm like, really? Girl Jordan is actually back in elementary school? I'm like, no, it's not. But I mean, like, the girl actually has like her ponytail, and then her
maybe it's her
design,
sister. It could be your little sister.
Her early design actually was like, her in her ponytail and her outfit like that. So I'm like, wait, are we really putting that character back into elementary school?
Here's a theory. It could actually be Girl Jordan's little sister.
Maybe, but I've just found out to be like really weird. I'm like, just keep it to one design. Let Girl Jordan be in junior high with like Lincoln and the squad. But it was just so weird seeing that. Either way, I love how the sequence was. Where like, they were trying to get them to join the Morticians Club, and then one of their like things to get them to join was like see Boris like twist his head, and of course that freaked out all the kids out. See a crow attack the kids, and even had what was it? Who was that one kid? He went inside that locker and just said like join the Morticians Club, and then scared a kid. See, that one was also pretty funny too. I totally forgot the guy's name. Anyways, but yeah, I thought it was a pretty funny sequence.
Was it Boris? Yeah.
No, Boris was the one who twisted his head. Yeah, the tall guy.
The tall bald-headed guy was Boris.
Yeah.
The other guy, it's the other guys. The other Mortician boy's name, I don't exactly know who that is.
Yeah, but he was in a couple episodes of the Loud House. I know that he was in Ghosted, and his name popped up. I just forgot his name.
Yeah, true.
Dante. There, that's his name.
Okay, Dante. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so they would ask. So the thing is that they asked everybody, but except Lola Loud, who is always the person with glam and fabulous. Everybody loves her and all. They would ask Lola, who would actually want to join in and glam up the Morticians Club. When you saw this, Omid, what was your initial reaction seeing that Lola wanted to actually join the Morticians Club?
I was actually kind of surprised because when I first saw the premise of She's All Bad, I thought to myself, okay, since when did Lola want to join a club where you end up, reading dark poetry and dressing in black clothes? Like that is not Lola. Okay, it's just not Lola. But then they brought out a decent reason why she would want to join, and that's all good. But I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, as I was watching the episode, I was thinking to myself, did Rocky say no? I mean, what was Rocky in the episode?
He's dead, man.
Rocky.
He's dead, man. He's dead. He's written off, man.
I was like, if you're going to need a 7th member of the Morticians Club, get Rocky. Okay.
Well, he was interested in blood, so exactly. I don't know. It was a good question. I actually didn't expect to actually hear Rocky from you, Omid. Plus, then again, he's pretty much like dead since season 2. So,
my God, honestly, just like how I see Lynn be more suitable to play Lenny's role rather than Lenny herself in Grub Snub, I feel that when She's All Bad, Lucy should have asked Rocky to be the 7th member instead of Lola, because it would make much more sense. It would make much more for a more engaging and, in my opinion, a better told story, honestly. Not to say that this is bad, but I feel like it would be fun to see Rocky try to blend in with the, goth kids, with the in a goth atmosphere sort of thing, to try to impress Lucy. Dang it! Why you had a missed opportunity right there? You missed opportunity. Come on.
You brought in Jackie and Mandy. Why didn't you bring back Rocky?
Exactly. It's like, Rocky who? Oh, Rocky Balboa. What are you talking about?
I think it would have been a good 7th member, but yeah, I was really surprised. I'm like, wait. So none of the kids wanted them. I would expect Lola to actually say like, no, I hated all the dark stuff and all. But it was surprising to see Lola actually say, hey, I should be able to join you guys. Then again, I just wanted to glam up the whole Morticians Club. The thing is that I think I had a feeling that Lola wanted to join. Remember, she was like into like dark makeup. Remember, she asked Lucy about makeup back in Tea-Tail Heart. So it kind of shows that Lola has some interest in actually like getting into dark arts or something like that, getting into like goth or things like that. So I thought that was actually pretty interesting to see that Lola is actually interested in the goth stuff. But I also saw that she was into. She just wanted to glam up the whole Morticians Club. And you know what? It did help out. It was their 7th member, to say the least. And I think it's like very... And the other thing, too, is like it also did help bridge the fact that Lola and Lucy are going to have an episode together. And you never seen that since Tea-Tail Heart, to say.
Exactly, yeah. And there's also the fact that Lola took an interest in Lucy's creepy doll. So that's another thing that can really help make the argument that Lola is actually kind of interested in some of Lucy's, things.
Yeah, kind of whatever Lucy's like interested in. So maybe this is kind of a bonding thing for Lucy and Lola, because you never see those two actually interact together as sisters.
Definitely.
So when Lola joined, she would soon change up the Morticians Club from changing locations. They would change their location from the cemetery to Lola's room. Makeup tutorials where Lola would actually change their makeup and actually make them look fabulous. And even summoning animals. Remember that one part where like Lola did a ribbon thing and actually summoned a lot of frogs?
Yeah.
Okay, but so this makes the club happy. Everyone likes Lola in the club except Lucy Loud, which make her quite jealous in this episode. How did you like Lola's role, being in the Morticians Club?
Honestly, she actually blended into the Morticians Club better than I expected, because we all know Lola's like the social popular type, sort of a continuity thing from community to service. I like how that aspect of Lola carries all the way through to the other episodes of the series, including this one. So there's this nice touch of continuity there with Lola's character. And honestly, I was sort of surprised at how Lola easily blended into a Morticians Club when she's pretty much anything, but dark, anything but dressing black. It's she somehow won over the Morticians Club sooner than expected, like I said, because you sort of expect Lola to have a difficult time fitting in at first, but then gradually she would come to like them more and more. But here, however, I felt that the Morticians accepting Lola and Lola loving the Morticians Club was a bit too sudden.
You know what? It just feels like you always see Lola and Lucy interact, but you never see the Morticians Club actually interact with Lola that much. So it's just kind of a changing factor for the Morticians Club. Like, Lola turns out to be all nice to them, and then a Morticians Club just turning to Lola, just the fact that like, oh, Lola's a really cool character. We should actually keep her in the club and everything. So yeah, I would say this was just really cool to just see Lola just, do what she does best, like, glam it up, like with her stuff in makeup and her ribbon dancing, which you always see in pageants and stuff. You never expect it to actually be so beneficial when it comes to the Morticians Club. So to say the least, I'm just surprised that Lola actually just really, really fit in the club and everybody loves her. of course, this also made Lucy jealous because, yeah, you never expect Lucy to actually say, like, yeah. But first off, Lucy didn't like the fact that Lola wanted to be a part of the club, and then now she's a part of the club, and now Lucy's obviously being angry at the fact that she's in the club and she's getting more popularity than Lucy. So, yeah, this is a complicated little situation where, like, Lucy is now getting a little angry about Lola. I'm like, ooh, this is going to be a little bit tense here. But, yeah, Lucy's not liking this.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, honestly, Lucy may be black, but she is feeling green.
yeah, green with envy for sure.
Yeah.
So Lucy would soon try her best to make Lola leave the club, and she would do a lot of things for it. First off, try to change that act that that was it. Miss Principal Huggins pretty much like told them. So it's back to 6 members, but they still wanted to bring Lola back in the club. Either way, Lola would still be in the club nonetheless. And now the other thing too is that Lucy was trying to scare Lola away. Did you like how Lucy was doing? Do you like how Lucy's just trying to act with Lola, trying to scare her off the club?
You know what? In terms of selfish character episodes in LoudCasa, I'm gonna have to say this. This is actually one of the better ones for me. And the reason why is because unlike some others I know, Lucy's motivations here, Lucy's reasons for doing what she does are actually quite understandable because think about it. Just like how I mentioned how Lincoln's friends, like Lincoln's Gus's Games and Grub, like that's his safe space. Lucy with the Morticians Club, that's Lucy's safe space too. It's honestly the club, the gang in which Lucy herself shines, and she feels threatened by Lola's appearance. Like she feels threatened by Lola joining because obviously since it's her younger sister, and she sees how Lola's beloved by all, like Lola is so popular and Lucy not so much. Of course, Lucy would do what it takes to make sure that the Loud that the Morticians Club focuses on is Lucy and Lucy alone, because as we've seen before, like Lola's already got her popularity right there. She already has her own fans. Like, so Lucy thought to herself, let me just have this, okay? Let me just have my own friends, my own thing, because Lola has so many other things, so many other friends. So, and what really helps too is that Lucy actually feels genuine guilt for what she did at the end. And it's really believable, her apology and everything, and the reasons why she did what she did. She pointed out herself that she was jealous of Lola. And so Lola, after doing some thinking, she came to understand and she forgave her because Lola herself is jealous of other Loud siblings too, like Lisa. Oh God, that hug
was cute.
Everything.
Yeah, I would say the hug was cute.
The heart in the cloud. It's like yes, that was a nice touch. It was
a really nice touch to forgive him too, because I have a feeling like Lucy and Lola could actually work together like greatly as a good pair, like a good sister bonding episodes. If they actually have more Lucy Lola episodes, they actually turn out to be like really good. But yeah, I'm kind of like, I understand why Lucy was like jealous, why Lucy would wanted to like get Lola out of there. Look, the squad loves Lucy. The thing is that she and I understand why Lucy was like, saying, hey, I know that we ran a good group here, but I feel Lola has changed everything, and I kind of don't like that. And she doesn't like, I'm guessing Lucy just didn't like the changes and all. And the fact that Lola is pretty much running the whole show. So it makes sense why Lucy wants to like get back the leadership, get back the control that she, has been doing with the Morticians Club, and not have Lucy pretty much control it. So these scare tactics are actually pretty scary themselves. Like predictions of like Lola losing to Lindsay Sweetwater, or Lola getting arachnophobia. I mean, I have arachnophobia. I hate spiders.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be I'm gonna be scared in that pit. And then of course like summoning the dead, and then actually like trying to scare her by saying like, hey, I was one of pageant queen. Now let me take your soul so I can actually be pageant queen again, or something like that. But yeah, you're right. The ending was actually really cute. I mean, like, Lucy actually did admit at the end, saying like, I'm just jealous of you. And the fact that like, yeah, I'm sorry, and Lola actually was like very forgiving about that, and the fact that like she is relatable to it because she she was also jealous of Lisa, and I'm like, really? I never expected that from Lola Loud. Like she's like Lisa just being all smart and all. That's the reason why Lola's always so angry at her sometimes. I didn't know about that. That was a pretty interesting thing that she even said. But the fact that like at the end where they like forgave each other, hugged each other, and so it's quite unfortunate though because Lola said that she's quitting the club either way. So you're not going to see her in the Morticians Club again. It was just a good experiment to actually see those two actually like interact in a club like Lola's club. It would be funny if like Lucy actually joins Lola's club or something, and that's gonna be another like episode that will be coming up.
Oh God, I would imagine this. Like, I would imagine if Lucy did join Lola's club and then Lucy ended up becoming a princess, like DeviantArt would be just all over that.
Well, she did try to be pretty like Back in Black.
Yeah, true. So I kind of want to want to see this, like have this version of Lola and the Lucy from Black is Back, where she's dressed like blonde and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I kind of want that to be a
thing. She
thing.
was dressing like all pink and stuff.
yeah. Imagine this, like if that actually did happen.
Bring that Lucy back. That'd be pretty cool to see again.
No, but imagine this, like Lola's club is full of princesses and stuff. Like they would dress Lucy up as a princess, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, Lucy Loud is best Disney princess. Let's go.
That's Nick princess. There's no Disney princess in Nickelodeon.
no, but like you would have like Lola dressed in black, and then having a dress like like have it be Cinderella's dress, except have it be all black instead of blue, like Cinderella.
It can work out. I can imagine all the fan artists drawing that now. Anyway, yes. So anything else you want to bring up in this episode?
Nothing much I want to say, honestly, is that well, hello, bring back Rocky, please. Bring back Rocky, damn it. And also the fact that, like I said, for a selfish character episode, this is actually really refreshing to see because we thought that like some had doubts about she's all bad, like Lucy might be too selfish in what she's doing. And the thing is, yeah, while her actions are selfish, they're actually very understandable. And at the very least, she doesn't go too far with it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like she doesn't go too far with it. Like you know what I mean? And the ending was a sweet touch. Lucy and Lola hug each other. Then the heart. Oh my God, the heart is the best part of it. Honestly, like I want to see a Sam and Luna hug, but then like have a heart,
have a heart around it. Yes, of course you would.
Half of the heart be purple and half of the heart be like blue. I want that.
That would happen. You'll have it happen. Those two are a couple.
Yes.
I got nothing much to say. I felt this was a really good experiment to actually have Lucy and Lola actually have an episode together. Since Detail Heart was like more of a Lola episode, and this is more of like Lola and Lucy having an episode, but this is more of a Lucy episode where like Lucy gets jealous and she does something to actually try to ruin Lola's chances in being in the club. I still say that this was a pretty interesting experiment, and I really want more episodes like this. I really want more episodes where like you get to see two sisters that you never see interact with each other, have an episode and actually make it work. And I believe this episode really worked out. What was your rating? So what was your rating on this episode?
Okay, I'm gonna say it's an 8.5 out of 10. It was a really thoroughly enjoyable episode. I really liked it so much. I like to consider this more as a, T-Tail Heart in reverse. You know what I mean? It's a reverse T-Tail Heart where you got a Lucy and Lola episode, but then this time around it's Lucy that's playing the main role, and it's Lucy that's the one that's acting the selfish one of the two. Whereas with T-Tail Heart, it was Lola.
Okay. But for me, I would actually give this. I actually really did like this episode. I give it a 9 out of 10. I'm actually one of those people who actually will give this a 9 because it's so weird to actually have an experimental episode just like this. And I believe like the Loud House episodes are just going to be like that. It's like we never did this before. We never had sisters interact like this before. We never had like Lincoln's friends interact with sisters. We never had like this and that. So. They're trying new things for the Loud House, and I'm actually enjoying it. And this is actually one episode where I really enjoyed, where they continue to experiment with sisters, just interacting with each other more. And I believe this episode is really I really did help out. I really liked it. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for me for She's All Bad. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually agree with what you said. LoudCasa is getting really experimental nowadays with how much episodes they're putting up of different characters you never really expect to interact all that much. Like you got Lynn and Lisa episode, Lucy and Lola episode, Lynn and Liam episode of all things, yeah. and you got Leakin's friends interacting with Lenny's friends.
You got Stella working with Lana, and I was like, "Oh, that was actually a really nice episode."
Yeah, we thought it was. But
it was more of a lot. It was more of a Lana episode. Yeah, but the other thing too was like
Lola.
But the other thing too is like it's a Lynn and Liam. Like, yeah, you never expected Liam to become a great pitcher. But the other thing too is like this is good experimental work. Like, yeah, get Liam to do something else besides being a farm boy. Actually, get into sports, like Lynn sports. So I would imagine like Liam going back to another sport possibly.
Yeah, honestly, while I still say season 3 is my favorite episode, I would say season 5 is the most experimental.
Yeah, most experimental, but I'm enjoying the ride right now for season 5. Okay, Bill, we're not done yet, by the way. We still have more things coming out. And if you remember, Memorial Day was a holiday, but if you actually stayed in and actually watched a couple of hours of Nickelodeon, you would notice that there's specials that have aired on the that aired on Nickelodeon. One was a LoudCasa special, one was a Casagrandes special. So to say the least, we were all enjoying a LoudCasa Memorial Day. Would you say, Omid?
Yes. Oh my God.
It was enjoyable.
Two 30-minute specials in a row. One LoudCasa, one Casagrandes. Oh my God.
And to say the least, these were all very, very positive episodes. So let's actually break it down and let's get to reviewing these specials. The first one is Camped. So when Lynn Sr. So the synopsis here is when Lynn Sr. discovers that his childhood camp is closing, he decides to take the family to one last family trip there. They will discover a treasure map that would lead them to the camp's treasure that could save the camp from closing. So let's start it off from the beginning because we were introduced to Lynn Sr.'s father, whom we've never seen before, by the way. So how happy were you to see that we get to see Lynn Sr.'s side of the family and the relevance to the childhood camp?
Yeah, it was really fun to see Lynn Sr.'s dad finally, because we usually see Pop, who is Rita's dad. I'm just like, okay, we've already seen Rita's side of the family, which is Aunt Ruth and Pop. We never really see Lynn's side of the family, except for just a couple flashbacks here and there.
They're not
that much. It's not that much though. So I'm just glad that they decided to show Lynn Sr.'s father, like just full on, introduce him as a character. It was really fun to see. And
go ahead.
And just the fact that Lynn Sr.'s dad is so much like Lynn Sr. himself in terms of how vulnerable he is. It's like, yeah, those two are related. Those two are related. I mean, that you keep on hearing that at the end of the episode. So,
yeah, you know what? This is really cool. Like, you never get to hear anything about Lynn Sr.'s side of the family. You get to see, like, yeah, the dad's, like, the VanZilla lineup was like pretty much turned down from his dad to his other dad to his other dad. So to say the least, the VanZilla has been pretty much there for like the whole family generation of Louds. So we just never get to see like the older Louds. Like you never see we never see Gramps, which was Lynn Sr.'s grandpa. We get to see, Rita's dad, Pop. But the other thing too is we never get to see Lynn Sr.'s side. And it's just really cool to actually see how relative it is for Lynn Sr. and Lynn Sr.'s dad, because they totally are like in the same group. Like they're like little drama queens. They kind of cry a lot, but you get to see like their family resemblance straight from the camp as well. It feels like Lynn Sr. was having a rough time over at that camp, but he still had a fun time with it nonetheless. Like he did all those things and he still ended up he still ended up like getting hurt through it all.
Yeah, it was kind of fun to see, but then at the same time it's like, poor guy. Poor guy, hurt.
Yeah. But you know what? His camp was about to close, so it makes sense for the family to actually go there for one last camp thing. Oh, one last trip there. So the family would agree to take a trip to Camp Macedon before it closes, and soon Lynn Sr. would feel at home with all the reunions he would be with, including Flip, unfortunately. From this moment, you kind of assumed that this was going to be more of a Lynn Sr. episode, right, Omid?
Honestly, we rarely see Lynn Sr. focused episodes. I mean, the closest we've seen before this was the VanZilla one and Breaking Dad. But we rarely see Lynn Sr. episodes compared to the Loud siblings compared to his Loud Kids episodes, which is understandable. Because at the end of the day, it's about the Loud Kids, not really about the Loud parents, which is why he and Rita don't get that much focused episodes, honestly. So honestly, seeing Camp, it was nice to see a dive into Lynn Sr.'s childhood camp, a dive into Lynn Sr.'s family, and pretty much something that he loves to do other than cook.
Yeah, and you've seen it a lot in Cooked. It's just more like diving to the history of Lynn Sr. Because you see episodes where they have lots of job and he wants to go and get chase his dream job of becoming a head chef of his own restaurant, which happened in Cooked. And you're right, there's very small episodes of Lynn Sr. We don't have a lot of focused episodes about him, but I think this one is actually really impactful. The fact that we're actually going back to his history timeline and referencing back to Lynn Sr. as a kid and growing up in this camp. With this camp closing down, he wants to do as much as he can to make sure that it's saved, but nothing's going to happen. So at the moment, he's just going to have his family take one last trip over there so that they can have a fun time before the camp closes down on him, and he'll probably cry more emotions again. I just felt like this is more of a Lynn Sr. moment, Lynn Sr. episode, but it really wasn't a Lynn Sr. episode, to say the least. This is more relative for Lynn Sr. because this is actually Lynn Sr.'s camp that's about to be closed down, but the Loud family is also being involved in this as well, and they actually turn out to have a very big, impactful very impactful episode here in camp. So let's get to that, because soon Lynn and Lincoln would be the ones cleaning up a camp cabin, but they also would find a treasure map for this guy named Captain Kit, who actually left his treasure over in Camp Macedon. So the family would be on a quest to get his gold, and so the thing is a lot of things pop up. There's clues, there's caves, and so much stuff that are happening in this journey. Explain your thoughts on how this treasure hunt is when you were looking throughout this whole episode.
Oh my god, I just loved the treasure hunting aspect. In fact, that's what makes me love this episode overall. It's just such a grand adventure, such a grand episode. It's honestly one of the best 30-minute episodes I've ever seen. It was just the amount of chemistry, the amount of jokes, the amount of humor, and also the amount of landscape. Well, the wilderness, the caves, and stuff like that. Oh my god, it was just chef's kiss, just so good. And let me tell you about the humor of it. The humor is some of the best I've seen. This is legit one of the funniest episodes I've ever seen. From Lori's phone reception being
yeah.
Oh, I have service. No, I don't. I have no service. No, I don't.
Yep.
Down to Lucy's pun. Lucy doing a pun. Because it was at that moment where even Luann got too scared to even make a pun because she saw that skull. It was time for Lucy's time to shine because it's pretty much her thing. She's into dark stuff. So Lucy, when they encounter a skull, the first thing that Lucy says when they encounter a skull is she says, "Head into the dark, ha ha, get it." And then she nudges Luann, and I'm like, oh god, I just love this. And it really does go to show that Lucy really does love dark humor.
Then again, she loves the dark arts or something like that.
No, get it. Dark humor.
Yeah, I get it. Trying to pull a Luan here all of a sudden.
Lucy did it first, so I'm just saying. Okay, down to okay, what is possibly the highlight for me in this whole treasure hunting aspect? Luna Loud
Of course.
singing row your boat in her awesome rock star fashion way. Row your boat gently down the stream. And then it turns out that it wasn't just some random gag. It actually helped contribute to the plot, and it helped contribute to the treasure hunt because it was one of the things that was needed in order to help solve the riddle, which I'm really glad that it was because, like I said, just the fact that it helped contribute to the treasure hunting, it was a very nice touch. And the treasure hunting aspect is just awesome. In a way, it gave me this sort of like Uncharted vibes to it. Like, I'm a huge Uncharted franchise fan, so that really just warmed my heart just seeing that, like the riddles, the booby traps, and the treasure hunting, all that stuff. It was just so grand, so awesome.
I have to say, like, this was actually a really awesome fact that the whole family was actually trying to contribute in getting this gold. I never seen a family so dedicated into actually like trying to get treasure. Because the thing is like, oh yeah, we're gonna get gold, let's go get treasure. And I'm like, oh, okay, so this turned out to be a whole family outing of these guys actually trying to find a treasure chest. Or try to find Captain Kidd's gold. First off, I was thinking like, is this going to be really fake? but at the same time, it's like, wow, the kids are actually totally into looking for this treasure. That each Loud, I believe, I have to say this right. Each Loud actually contributed in actually trying to get them through the whole journey here. I remember,
yeah, exactly.
I remember Luna and Luan. They found like these, what was it? Navigators, get it? Yes, they found the navigators. I love these
navigators.
And then you got to see Lily actually try to get through like this wood, this piece of log that's blocking the way. So at the moment, she was just pretty much digging through, making a hole, and they were able to get through that whole log. Lynn Sr. like tried to lift everybody up the butte, not a butt, but a butte. And then you also get to see Lenny also help contribute, like, taking the necklace from that one skeleton, Lily taking that one jewel and actually helping make that puzzle piece that actually helped them get the gold. Also Rita, by the way, she turned out to be a beast. I mean, like, I get it. Like that bear or that werewolf. It's not a werewolf. It's more of a beast. It's more of a bear. She literally, like, is protective of her family, obviously. So these two mother bears pretty much just roared at each other, and Rita turned out to be the better mother out of the fight there.
What can I say? They're protective of their own cubs. I just love it.
Yeah, and of course, Lori also helped out with the flashlight. I think, I don't know. To say the least, like, I think everybody really did contribute in this, and I felt like this was pretty cool to actually have the Louds actually really get engaged in helping this journey get through, and they ended up actually getting gold. I really did like Luna's performance, also, like Luna performing and stuff.
Yes,
yeah, yes. To get the fake gold, but they still ended up getting with real gold, with the fact that they put the puzzle pieces together and ended up with the treasure itself. So yeah, at the back of my mind, I'm like, is this really going to be fake? But to be honest, but the thing is that it's real, and it's like, oh wow, this is great. This is actually real treasure. This is actually real things that can actually help the camp be saved and all. And this is something that is a real rescue mission. I love the mission. I love the whole fact that throughout this whole like sequence of them trying to get the treasure, it just felt very Indiana Jonesy. Like, it's like you're going through all these like traps, all of this and all of that, just to get this treasure chest, or this whole treasure. I love the fact that they ended up getting the treasure, but at the end they are about to get pushed out of the cave. I'm like, wow, this is totally like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, honestly, and I love it for that. Like, I really adore this episode because, like it's just pointed out, Nate, like every single Loud serves a purpose to the story. None of the Louds feel phoned in. None of the Louds, feel like they're filler. Like, no, each of them serve a purpose to the story, and that's what counts.
And then also thing too is that, like, in the end too, where like Lynn was about to like save, they were about to like be fallen off of the mountain, but Lynn was there to actually like save them, and unfortunately had to let go of the gold.
And it took long. I like how it took long for Lola to let go of the gold because she's into shiny things. She's into becoming rich.
That's more of a trait for Lola. She loves gold and she loves being rich. Obviously, she's still gonna keep that gold no matter what.
Exactly. That's why I love it because it's so in character and so consistently funny.
And the other thing too is that Lola still tried to get gold no matter what, even if they actually found the gold and put it in camp, and then like you can see Rita and Lily just say like, "I'm angry at you, okay, Lola." I love Rita's like motherly instincts. Like, holy crap, she's a kind of a beast when it comes to her being her and a mother.
Yes. Like when she screamed out loud, I was like, that is a mom right there. That's a mom.
That's a mom you don't want to mess with. So the adventure ends with them actually finding real treasure. But unfortunately, there was a rock that was going to push them away. That the treasure was about to be pretty much all lost and gone, until you get to see Lynn Sr.'s dad come into the picture and actually save the treasure. So to say the least, the camp would have been saved. But unfortunately, the person who actually runs the camp said that he's still going to go on and say, "Hey, I'm still going to close the camp because I'm going to retire. I'm going off to Florida to retire." I love the fact the Louds were like, "Florida, yeah, that's where everybody retires, Florida." But then I love this little moment here at the end where like Lynn Sr.'s dad will take care of the camp, and with all the treasure and everything, it should be enough money to pretty much like, save the camp and pretty much have them keep on running the camp for as long as both of the Loud families shall live. So to say the least, if Lynn Sr. like ends up retiring too, Lynn Sr.'s dad ends up retiring too, then probably give it to Lynn Sr., for example. So this is going to be pretty much a Loud camp that they're probably going to be going for quite some time, and I think that is going to be like their hangout camp that they're going to go to. But to say the least, it was a really touching ending, and I thought was really amazing. The fact that the camp counselor still was going to close the camp, but the Louds are going to say, "Hey, we're going to stop it. We're going to be the ones to take over." How did you like this ending of the special here?
I really like the ending because it really does goes to show how much the treasure hunting really paid off. Because at the end of the day, they were trying to save the camp, and thankfully they succeeded. And of course, it ends with Lynn Sr. and his dad, hugging and crying. Is like, "Oh, son, I miss you. Oh, I miss you too, Dad." They're totally related. They really are.
Yeah, they're totally related.
That's where he gets it from. That's where Lynn Sr. gets it from.
I love the whole fact that like they just keep on saying like they're totally related. They're totally related.
Yeah, man.
Anything else you want to say about the ending?
Well, nothing much about the ending, but there's this one scene that I will admit, when I saw the Loud still being in the cave, and once you see them, touch the gold, once you see them get a hold of the gold, and then the cave starts shaking, I'm not going to lie. Am I the only one who got Cave of Wonders vibes in that scene?
I didn't feel that. I didn't actually think about that. I didn't know about that.
It sort of reminded me, like, once they saw the gold and they were trying to get the gold, all of a sudden, like, everything goes down inside the cave. I was thinking to myself, "You have touched the gold. Now you will never return." Only one may enter. More like only 13 may enter. Yeah.
I know I never actually thought about that, but that's actually a pretty good point to bring out there. But yeah, I would say I got nothing much to say about the ending. I think it was a really touching ending. Like I said, I've explained it already. I kind of feel bad for Flip because we kind of thought Flip was the Yeti, and I kind of think there's a continuation point there. Was Flip really the Yeti, or was Flip? I know Flip was trying to get the treasure too, and he failed at it, obviously. And the other thing too is that I believe most of you guys are probably going to hate it if Flip actually did intrude in their treasure hunt. Luckily, he didn't. And I'm pretty sure you all are like, "Yay," because I don't like Flip.
Yeah, when you said those words, I kind of feel bad for Flip. I'm just thinking, really? You feel bad for Flip? You're the first I've heard say those.
Look,
You're the first I heard say those.
It was a reunion thing too. Come on. He was reunited at camp. Was it in Camp Macedon? Okay.
Still though, just why? Anyway, aside from him though, I really love the episode.
He didn't have a lot of like focus anyway. He only appeared like in 2 minutes of the episode, and then that was pretty much it for him.
And that's what I like about it. What I like about it is that they only use Flip in small doses. Like, they didn't use him as a plot device to get the Louds in the way of their goals. You know, that's why I liked how they used Flip. Like they did, like you know what I mean. So I like that they use him in small doses. I'm just like, you know, why haven't you done that in like the rest of the show? Whereas like in some episodes that Flip is in, like he either causes trouble for the protagonist or is just there to serve as, you know, like as an unfunny gross machine. Just, you know, keep using Camp in these small doses, and maybe he might, you know, get my, you know, better graces, but not really.
At the moment, I haven't seen much on Flip in these episodes, so to say the least, I think they're listening to us now. All right. So, anything else you want to point out in this episode or this special?
Yes, I'm gonna say this one. Honestly, after really thinking about it, I'm gonna say this: Camped is my new favorite episode of season 5.
Wow.
Yes, even more so than Schooled, even more so than Boss Baby, even more so than Band Together. This is my new favorite, and the reason why is because it's a combination of all these perfect elements. You got the treasure hunting aspect. You got the humor aspect. You got, you know, the Loud family working together aspect, and I'll combine that all with some nice looking animation of the wilderness and the caves. It's just, you know, a nice touch. Honestly, I'm gonna say this: like, this is honestly to me a better Loud House Vacation episode than Trip. Trip was great. It was fine. This, however, takes the cake. This, however, it serves as a prelude. It serves as a sort of a sneak peek of what's to come in the Loud House movie where they travel again.
I have to say though, this is obviously it's better than Tripped. I mean, an adventure like this, you never expect this from the Loud House. And it was just like, it gets you glued in. Like everything was glued in just to see if they could actually get the treasure. I would be so pissed off if they actually said, if they actually ended up with fake treasure. And I'm like, oh no, please don't be like this. But at the end, they actually ended up with treasure. The ending was great. You know, you're thinking about closing down, and they ended up with the Louds actually taking over the camp. Everything I think felt like complete with it. There's some things I do want to point out. I did already point out the Flip thing, why that Yeti was a thing. Apparently they didn't like answer who that Yeti was. It could have been Flip, may have not been. I don't know. And then Lori, for example, she was actually in this episode. Now I'm kind of wondering, they didn't actually give an explanation of like why Lori came back. Is it because of summer break? Is it because of something? But if Lori is actually going to be coming in these next couple of, like, let's say, for example, a new episode of Loud House comes up and Lori's in this one. If she's not in college, then that tells me, did she move back? Did she move back? I'm like, oh, is college really too hard for you that you actually had to move back? That's my thing. Because like, remember we talked about this before, where like we don't like Lori in Fairway University. If she actually went to a real college, she would actually like end up having like a lot of possibilities. Maybe there's a maybe there's a little point here. Maybe she will not be in Fairway University. Maybe she could be in a new college with Bobby, for example. I don't know, but she was in that when she was in that episode. When she was in the episode, I was like, okay, I'm loving it. She's, you know, taking relaxing time. She obviously talking to her boo bear. That's pretty much her trait. She's into phones. She's into like trying to find a signal that always she gets and lose. That's pretty much her trait. And just seeing Lori again is just like, okay, thank God she's back. But you know, we're waiting a long time for like another Lori episode than Ghosted. So yeah. Can we have more Lori episodes? Is it going to be in the Loud House or it's going to be in Fairway University? Please let me know, because we missed her for so much, and just seeing her again in Camped made it like one up for me with her in the episode. So
I definitely agree.
So what was your rating on Camped, Omid?
Honestly, I'm going to say this: this is one of those rare occasions where it is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Wow.
10 out of 10.
Really
Yes.
up to the 10. Wow. That's
everything
a record
about
here.
this.
Everything
about this episode.
We gotta have a sound effect whenever somebody puts a 10 on an episode or a special.
Yes.
like a little air horn or something.
I know it's rare for me to say, but like I said, everything about this episode just works, and it works perfectly. Like I said, just the amount of passion, the amount of heart, the amount of writing, the amount of humor that went into this episode, it's just chef's kiss. Just it's definitely one of the best episodes of the Loud House I have ever seen, and the best season 5 episode by far. And just it's also helped by the fact that when you do think about it, I think the reason why Laurie's integrated into this episode as well, because you got to keep in mind, this is a summer themed episode. This is them going to a summer camp. So when you think college kids and you think summer, unless they're taking summer classes, I don't think they're going to continue to stay in university. They might want to go back to visit their families.
Which is true. I would still expect like a summer break with like Laurie going to like going to the beach or like going to like hangouts with like her college friends, but we have never had an episode where we actually see her in college, so there's probably not going to be an episode about that. But yeah, I have to agree with you. This is absolutely a really good special. From their old special where they had Ghosted as the last special they made. I'm like, I like Laurie in that episode, but yeah, I understand why everyone hated it. This one actually takes the cake now. Like, this is a good special. Like, the adventurous aspect, the mission for them to get the camp back to normal, not get it closed. I feel like it's just great. Laurie going back obviously is my favorite my favorite part. Obviously not as just joking. It's the adventurous part, like them all together working together to get a treasure that is real. And the little history aspect about Lynn Loud Sr., which we never actually heard about. Now it comes to fruition, and we just hope we get to see more of Lynn Sr.'s dad, or maybe Lynn Sr.'s mom, possibly in an episode. I don't know. It opens up more possibilities of like how the Loud family is going to be. So yeah, there are some loopholes, like I said. The Yeti, the Laurie explanation why she's back. I have, besides all that, I give this a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. It's a really good special. I'm really happy that they made something like this, make this adventurous for the Louds, something that you never expect to see. You were thinking like, oh, this is some sort of silly adventure. No, it's not. It turned out to be a really like eye gripping, makes you want to watch episode, that makes you like want to see that they actually did find treasure at the end. So yeah, definitely a really good special. Camped was really up on the tops for me for Loud House specials, and no doubt about it, I think they really did promote the heck out of this, that it really did live up to the hype for sure.
It really did. It really did. Honestly, like, it exceeded my expectations, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Camped, most definitely one of our best specials we ever put up. Me gave it a 10, and I was surprised about that.
Yes,
we never had a 10 out of 10 rating in so long, so no doubt I'll meet with the 10. I'll have to put your tops on that. All right,
like there are a few episodes that I ranked 10 out of 10. Like I would say like about 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 I would rate 10 out of 10. Just, perfect for me. This is one of them.
My judgments are always like, it has to be a perfect episode for me to actually give it a 10 out of 10. One of them would be really loud music, for example.
That one too. Yes, that one too.
All right, so without further ado, let's actually head over to the next special that also literally aired after Camp. It's called Zoomergency. It's a Casagrandes special. In this synopsis, after the recent news that the Great Lake City Zoo is closing, Sid and the Changs must do what they can to save the zoo. Now, how happy were you to hear that this episode was going to be all about the Changs, and most importantly, Sid?
Yes! Our prayers have been answered. We're finally getting a Sid Chang 30-minute episode. Woo! Yeah, baby. Not only that, but the Changs play a significant role in this as well, which I really like, because we rarely focus on Sid's family life, But however, things are different with this episode, and it's really helped by the fact that it's not a 15-minute episode, it's a 30-minute episode, all focused on the Changs, and I absolutely love every single minute of it.
I'm so happy about this because like we always keep seeing the Changs, we always keep seeing Sid, be best friends with Ronnie Ann. The other thing too is like, yeah, we've seen this concept before in the Loud House where like Clyde would and his family will have his own episode. Look at Exchange of Heart, for example.
Except this is much better.
This is absolutely much better. Well, we love the Changs for so long. Like Changs, the like Sid Chang, Stanley, Becca, and Adelaide. We've all loved like their appearances in a couple of the Casagrandes episodes. So why not have an episode where we can actually see their family like in full time what they do? And no doubt about it, I think this is absolutely one special that I really enjoyed. The fact that we get to see more of the Changs instead of the Casagrandes, which you always keep on seeing, which makes sense because the whole show is all about the Casagrandes. So I'm like, why can't we have an episode where we actually focus on the Changs? And no doubt about it, this is absolutely one that was in the books for a Chang special. And I'm really happy that the fact that it's also about Sid, and most of the focus is mostly on Sid in this episode. So let's explain to you more about that, because Sid is an importance in this. From the beginning, we get to see the typical life of the Changs, dancing to K-pop with animals while making bao. They seem to be
pizza
like a
really
pizza bao, yeah. So they seem like a really fun family. Nothing you've ever seen from the Changs, actually. How do you feel about the beginning of the episode and how the typical life of the Changs are?
Oh, I really love that we got to see an insight into the Sid Chang's home life, where basically, of course, you got Sid and Adelaide and all the animals like jam into K-pop, and then you have to do it, and I got some snacks.
Please put that song on. Please put that song on Apple Music, please. I want that song.
and then you got Adelaide doing a dance that is reminiscent, like it's a straight up Peanuts reference, where you got to be like,
yeah, that's
I love that one.
I saw how she was dancing. I'm like, it's a Peanuts reference.
Very nice Peanuts reference, spot on. And then, of course, you got Stanley Chang serving up pizza baos. Which reminds me, like, this episode makes me want to have pizza baos. I want my pizza baos now.
Actually, I never actually expected bao. I've had bao before, but I never actually had pizza style baos. This is absolutely new to me.
I need to have a pizza style bao like in my life. Like I've had pizza, I've had pizza, I've had baos. I just never had pizza baos.
Yeah, now I have to actually look at a Chinese restaurant if I actually find a pizza bao anywhere.
Hell yeah, man.
I love the beginning of the episode. It's like, oh, they're having fun with K-pop. Oh, all the animals are there. By the way, all the animals are there. The ones that are referenced, like the snake from Karma Chameleon. You get to see the two birds from No Egrets. You get to see the monkey from How to Train Your Carl, also in the episode. So it's like, oh, references back to the episodes where we actually get to see these animals in the Casagrandes. So continuation, I think, is a huge thing over here in the Casagrandes that they're continuing on. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Same here, man.
Of course, you get to see Adelaide, who's so cute. Obviously, she's just hanging out and dancing around. And of course, you get to see Stanley out of the train. By the way, just living a typical life of just making stuff for the kids and the animals. And I have to say, this is nice. This is a nice like little setting that they set up for the Changs, and I'm pretty happy about it. And yeah, so bad news would come to them where the zoo would close, which would break Becca's heart, obviously, because she also helped out in the zoo. But Sid has ideas to make sure the zoo doesn't close, which doesn't turn out to be good. Explain how your thoughts were having Sid take control and save the zoo.
Okay, I really love Sid in this episode. Like, she is the highlight of the episode. Like, she's energetic, she's passionate, she's free-spirited. She's quirky in some ways, and just like she tries so hard to save her mom's zoo because she loves animals just as much as her family does. And I love her ideas. I love her zany ideas that she tries to come up with in order to save the zoo. Like the monkeys dressing up as waiters, to an animal skate park, to a dance, and so on and so forth. It's just like like honestly, like this really does highlight how likable and how fun Sid's character is. Like Sid's been so lovable in this series, but honestly, this is her at her best.
This is absolutely her at her best. I mean, first off, she had all these ideas, and some of these ideas are pretty much like all the things that she's like relative to. I mean, the skate park one, obviously she had like some influences with her friends. You had Ronnie Ann, you had was it Casey and Samir and Nikki pretty much also help out with the skate park as well. So I thought it was actually pretty crazy. Just the animals actually like interact, like trying to be like skateboard people. I feel bad for Stanley because he had to actually endure something like very terrible in that idea.
Yeah.
Look, Sid is a very colorful person. She's very sweet. She's like very lovable. That all her ideas are like really cute, but may not work at the end. I mean, she has the idea of like having monkey waiters, but that turned out to be a failure because monkeys cannot serve. The skate park was really fun. A fair with the animals, that was actually pretty cool too. But unfortunately, like an open mic for a bird is not a good idea. Yeah, I have to say, like Sid was absolutely like great in this episode. Although that little laugh that she does at the end, the laugh that she does whenever she brings up an idea,
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I keep hearing that. I'm like, wait, are you trying to be evil, or is that supposed to be good or evil? I don't know what you're trying to do, Sid. But
Yeah,
I love how the
honestly,
twist is.
I think it's more like a anti-hero approach because you got this dark side of Sid, the evil side of Sid, while also trying to do something with good intentions. So I would say not necessarily villain, more like anti-hero. Yeah, that.
It kind of feels like an anti-hero person. I don't know. So now there's another side story in this episode too, where Adelaide also tries to save the zoo, but she's mostly saving the animals in the zoo. You get to see her like pair up with a family of monkeys, try to get them out of the zoo. How did you like this little side story of Adelaide working with the monkeys?
Oh, I really liked it. It's actually really a cute side story where you have Adelaide trying to help. What was it? Marlene or something? The monkey.
Marcel, I think.
Marcel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marcel. Ugh. So it's Adelaide trying to help Marcel and her big monkey family. And the important thing is that it's actually it's done with the same motivations as Sid's, which is to pretty much save the zoo animals. And I like how it's Adelaide's plot is sort of like a Sid's plot, but it's sort of like on a smaller scale. But because it's specifically her trying to save her monkeys. So this B plot actually works within the episode because it doesn't feel like filler at all. And I like that.
It doesn't feel filler at all. It's more like, look, I know Sid is the one who's trying to run the whole show, trying to get like her mom and her dad to try to save the zoo. But then they just forgot about Adelaide. So Adelaide was doing her own thing and actually tried to save the zoo by just saving the animals. Only one pair of animals. Marmosets. I think they're called marmosets. Somebody put it on the comments. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. It was also pretty cute too. Like to see little Adelaide try to save those animals. They try to work together, have the marmosets actually work together, and and try to save them from like being shipped out to some other zoo, which I thought was pretty cute of Adelaide to do. So the Changs would run a fundraising gala to raise money to save the zoo. Now Sid wanted to help out in that gala. Unfortunately, what was it? It just seems that she wasn't very helpful in that gala. I remember she tried to like welcome people in, that didn't work out. She tried to distribute bao, that didn't work out. She tried to get ice, that didn't work out. So how did you like Sid's portrayal here to try to help them in this gala?
Like I said, I really do love Sid in this episode. She has very good intentions, trying to help save the family zoo. I love her zany creative ideas, but unfortunately, they just don't really work out as well as they should, honestly. And I do understand Sid's parents, how internally frustrated they feel about Sid trying to butt in. At the end of the day, I would say that both sides are understandable. where you got Sid's parents trying to do it the normal way because they want to make sure it goes smoothly.
Yeah.
So I can see why they're hesitant towards Sid's zany ideas. But at the same time, though, it's Sid Chang. Come on. I mean, she's zany in the most fun way possible. Honestly, that's what makes her her. And even Sid's mom at the end learns this and points this out to Sid too. It's like that's what makes you you, Sid. Don't change all that stuff.
Exactly. And I just feel bad for Sid like in this part here because like Sid like has all these ideas and it actually like got portrayed in the zoo. The thing is that she loves to be silly. She loves to be very, kooky, fun and all that kind of stuff. It's just kind of sucks that it kind of really sucks that like Stanley and Becca both didn't like it. Obviously her ideas didn't work out, that they had to actually step in and say, hey, we'll run the gala, you do this. I kind of feel bad for Sid because it's like, Sid is trying to be silly, like, try to welcome them in by being a hippopotamus.
Or a monkey.
Yeah. Oh, they love my welcoming smile, and that turned out to be the creepiest smile ever.
It reminds me of that Forever Alone meme. The ones like...
Yeah.
It sort of gave me Forever Alone meme vibes.
Yeah, those memes. Oh my goodness. And then of course, like she tried her best to help, and I really did feel bad for Sid at the end, where like Becca and Stanley were like saying, "Hey, I really love Sid, but I just love her. I just hate her ideas. Where her ideas are just so Sid," and I'm like, oh man. And then they hated it, and of course Sid really got hurt about it. It just turned out to be like
tears, man.
Yeah,
Bro,
the tears really got me too, and I'm like, oh man, this is all bad. All right, yeah. So, I gotta feel bad for Sid on this. It's just like, the parents don't understand like how creative you are as an idea maker, but at the same time, your ideas don't really help out. So they need to step in. But I feel like the parents kind of like got a little too aggressive, got a little bit too angry, a little too mean. I mean, to Sid when they said that.
No, but you kind of understand why. They came off as such because Sid has been interfering a bit too much with her zany plans, and 4 or 5 times in a row they don't work out. So of course, for the good of the zoo, they want to try their way.
Right. Well, good for Becca. I mean, like, this is going to be like the last moment, and they just want to make sure Sid doesn't get involved with it. So it makes sense. But I feel bad for Sid, especially when they had to tell her, hey, these ideas are just so Sid.
Man. Yeah, but that's what makes him good.
Yeah, that's true. That must make them good. Exactly. So Stanley and Becca would agree Sid wasn't much of a help. It's unfortunate Sid over. Yeah, I just said that. Meanwhile, Adelaide's plot to get the monkeys out sort of worked. But they saved most of the monkeys. They saved most of the marmosets. Sorry, not monkeys, marmosets. They saved most of the marmosets except for Adelaide and Marcel. So they ended up actually trying to find another way around, but they almost got caught by a guard. And then mayhem happens where like Adelaide pressed the button and all the animals got released. Oh, Adelaide, I thought you were so cute, but at the same time, ooh, you made trouble also.
Oh man.
So explain your thought. So sorry about that. This led the animals into a town crisis, which obviously was all bad. Explain your part here about. So I don't want to put down here. Explain your thoughts here in this part of the special. Okay, yeah. Explain your part. Explain your parts with Adelaide. How she did when she was trying to escape, and all that stuff happens.
All I gotta say is, hey, Curly from Hey Arnold, you're not the only Nicktoon character who's freed animals from the zoo. There's Adelaide too.
I guess that works out.
All right, Curly, you ain't the only Nicktoon character, okay? Adelaide's joining you now. It's like I kind of want to see a fan art of Curly and Adelaide, pretty much like sitting on elephants, and then you have like a stampede of animals like following them. It's like, but in all seriousness though, I really like that when she freed all the animals in the zoo, and then she just happened to watch the news about how the animals are going nuts and all that stuff, and so Sid gets the idea of that. Hey, animals love K-pop, because we've seen in the beginning how animals have been jamming to K-pop along with the Changs. So and then we delve into Sid's dreamland or something like that. I would say it's definitely Sid's dreamland, where it's all bright and pink, and then you see Yoon Kwan's head being like,
you mean Sid's little imaginary little land, her happy place. Her happy place is what it's called.
It's pretty much Sid land in a way.
Look at all the things that she has though. It's like all Yoon Kwan, all K-pop.
Is that who I see? Is that who I see? It's her girlfriend, Ronnie Ann, in her dreamland. Oh, Sedani! Sedani is real.
So I have the feeling here. I have the feeling of Sedani vibes here, because we had Ronnie Ann and Sid. Ronnie Ann in Sid's happy place. So I must say,
oh my god, yes. Zoomergency. This episode ships Sedani. Zoomergency knows what's up in terms of Sedani. I'm just like, yes.
Sedani for the win, right? Oh my god, this is cute. Well, it wasn't look, it was just only 1 minute, but the thing is that Sid was focusing on Yoon Kwan, obviously, and Yoon Kwan pretty much gave the idea that everyone loves K-pop. So that brought the idea for Sid to pretty much blast K-pop and have all the animals come in and save them. So how did you like this whole idea about this little part here?
Oh, I really liked it. I really liked how it ended so in such a big scale. Like, it had a grand ending where you got not just the animals, not just Sid, but you got you got the residents of Great Lake City also jamming to K-pop. That's when you know K-pop is real. Like they put Sid pretty much said it best. Like, the power of K-pop is real. Okay, don't you underestimate the power of K-pop. Okay, you'll regret it.
K-pop is I'm a fan of K-pop too. I like the music that they put in, BTS, Blackpink, 2021, all those members. But I would like to say my favorites are BTS, all the K-pop bands you mentioned, like BTS, Monsta X I really love. I like Stray Cats, and I like Girls' Generation. Oh, Girls' Gen 2. That's awesome. Yeah. But the thing is, everyone loves K-pop. That's pretty much the point of it all. And of course, that pretty much references back to the beginning of the episode where, everyone loves K-pop. You get to see the Changs pretty much dance to K-pop. And you got to see the animals also dance to it too. So the idea for Sid to actually just blast K-pop through the speakers and have all the animals, all over town listen to it and dance to it, I think that was pretty much the whole idea of that wasn't the point of the episode, but it's more of Sid having a good idea this time around and actually making it work. And who knew that everyone loves K-pop?
Yeah. Who doesn't love K-pop, right?
Yeah, exactly. But either way, in the end, it was just absolutely great to see Sid's ideas finally come to life, and everyone recognizing Sid actually having a good idea and actually portraying it in the end of the episode. So, look, all her ideas could be silly and stuff, but sometimes it could work. Like this, for example. I feel like the ending really did account for much at the end. And you get to see the Changs hug as well. It just tells you that this episode this special that's mostly about the Changs actually did work out, and it really helped me follow the Changs a whole lot more and made me love them more. But yeah, no doubt about it. This was definitely a really good special for Sid, but of course for the whole Chang family as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good look into Sid Chang and her family life. I love how it focuses on not just Sid but her whole family as well.
Yeah,
we really need it. We've been begging for it for months, and we finally
it's been so long. It's been so long. We've always had a couple of friend episodes where, for example, we had a Laird episode. I'm like, really? We had a Laird episode? Why not Sid? I mean, have Ronnie Ann's best friend. She should have an episode. And I love how it's just in a 30-minute special just like this. So
Same
good.
Here.
All right. So anything else you want to point out in this episode?
Yeah. So I noticed that in the beginning, you see Becca crying, tears flooded. I'm just thinking to myself, Becca's been taking crying lessons from Frida.
but the same thing would go for Lynn Sr. as well, right? He's also crying like waterfalls in camp, right?
Well, not as much as like Becca and like Becca's been crying like Frida style, where it's like, you know, flooded all over, you know,
yeah.
As more exaggerated.
Right. It's still though. I mean, like waterfall. I think I get waterfall tears are going to be a thing, and a joking gag that's going to be running with the Casagrandes and the Louds. So, and when they're going to be crying tears of waterfalls, you probably see a couple of Louds do it, like Lisa did back in 11 Louds Leaping. So why not? And then I think like when everybody cries in the Casagrandes, it's just going to be all waterfalls. I think Frida pretty much like made the concept pretty funny and clear now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have to say Zoomergency was a really fun episode. No doubt about it. We really wanted a Chang's episode like this. What other things I wanted to point out? I had something in my mind. I just forgot. I think the Adelaide side point was cute. What else was I putting up here? I guess I don't have anything much. I'll think about it once we talk about our rating. So, what's your rating on Zoomergency?
I'm gonna say a 9.5 out of 10.
Nice.
I really love this episode. It's just really good to see a episode so focused solely on Sid and her family, and just the fact that it's a 30-minute episode just made it all the worthwhile. Also, I also love how this episode brings out a commentary about how K-pop is popular nowadays with the generation, with the crowd. And while Sid has become a bit overbearing with her plans to pretty much, save the zoo, you could tell, but that it all comes from a place of good heart and also passion for her animals. Also, like, you can tell that Sid Chang is really passionate about saving the zoo, and so are her family members, but they just do it in a different way than she does. And oh my God, I'm gonna tell you this: can we all just appreciate the fact? Can we all talk about, Ronnie Ann in a dress, please? That's the perfect time to talk about Ronnie Ann in a dress.
Fancy Ronnie Ann, yes. Fancy Ronnie Ann. It's so cute. It's a fancy Ronnie Ann. It's cute. Yes. You always see.
I hereby declare Memorial Day to be dressed up Ronnie Ann Appreciation Day.
So what? Are we just going to just put fan arts of Ronnie Ann everywhere?
Would you really be surprised? I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. I guess if you want to declare that. But yeah, I have to say though, I forgot. Here's my point here. The song that 12 is Midnight was performing, can we actually have that as a real song? Like put it up on put it up on Google Plus, or sorry, put it up to Google Plus. Put it up on Apple Music. Put it up on Spotify. Put it up on pretty much anywhere where we can actually listen to music. That song is actually pretty cool. I mean, it's a good K-pop song.
No song
it's not really a K-pop song, but it's like a really good song that I can actually bop to.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of makes me hungry for a snack.
Yeah, I actually want hungry for a snack now. Yeah, but yeah, I would say this episode was really good episode because it's not focusing on the Casagrandes. It's now focusing on the Changs, and we've been looking at the Changs for so long. They moved into the Casagrandes household. We just never had a full focused episode on them. We always see them like pop up in certain Casagrandes episodes, but never an episode just like this. And no doubt about it, makes me love the Changs a whole lot more. So I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. Not like I said, there's a little bit of some flaws that are in this episode, but to say the least, a really fun Changs episode. It was really fun to say the least. I really loved it.
Same here.
All right. That's pretty much it for our episode reviews. Wow. That was a lot of episodes. That was a lot to talk about for 4 episodes. But then again, we had 2 specials to talk about, which makes sense of us, talking about this a whole lot more. Mm-hmm. But we actually do have more episodes coming out this tomorrow. So let's actually dive into our preview section of this LoudCasa Talks mini episode. So let's actually talk about the 2 Casagrandes episodes coming out tomorrow. The first one is Saving Face. According to the synopsis here, Ronnie Ann and Sid are determined to find out if the new building tenant is La Tormenta. So we know this episode already aired in Australia before it airs tomorrow. Fortunately, you haven't seen this one, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so we're actually coming in with no spoilers. Okay, cool. Let's not watch this leaked episode now. So Omid, explain your thoughts on how this episode is going to go.
Like I'm going to say this. Like Ronnie and Sid, of course, they're going to do some investigating to see if it's really La Tormenta or it could be someone that is impersonating her or looks like her. I have a straight up feeling that it could go either way. It could turn out to be really good or not so great. Now, the good route would be Ronnie and Sid investigate to see if it really is La Tormenta, and then they try to find some clues to see if it's really her, like her face mask, her catchphrase, and all that stuff. But then it could go into the bad route where it's like Ronnie Yen and Sid endlessly stalk La Tormenta because she's their favorite wrestler. I don't want that to happen. Like Ronnie Yen and Sid are not the stalking type, you know, unless it's Yu Quan.
Of course, it will be anything K-pop. That's for Sid. But to say the least, I mean, there's already a preview that came out, and I saw that there's this one person that joined that was in the same building as Ronnie Yen and Sid, and kind of the characteristics that she did kind of feels like La Tormenta. So to say the least, it kind of makes sense why Ronnie Yen and Sid wanted to investigate this new building person, the person who just moved into their building, to make sure that it's La Tormenta. So they would do. So I'd imagine like Ronnie and Sid doing all this kind of spy stuff in order for them to actually see if it actually really is La Tormenta. First off, we're gonna have a lot of Ronnie Sidani vibes here, so get ready for that in this episode. The other thing too is I'm pretty sure at the end it's going. Here's my prediction. I feel like at the end it's not going to be La Tormenta. It's going to be some like random person that I believe loves La Tormenta, that she does all these moves. So I say like a huge fan of La Tormenta, and then like let's say for example they just walk back to their house, walk back to their apartments, and then like randomly when they walk by, there's this person that's like in disguise, and that's La Tormenta. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, it's one of the huge wrestlers. We've seen her in with that Lucha Fever episode with the Casagrandes. So it makes sense to actually bring her back, and let's see how this episode goes. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Anything else you want to bring up for this episode?
Yes. I kind of want to have the twist to be where it actually is La Tormenta. I don't want it to be like a cop-out ending.
Yeah, I don't want it to be a cop-out too. I really hope not, because yeah, the cop-outs really kind of like make the episode kind of dip a bit. All right. So let's move over to the second episode of the Casagrandes coming out tomorrow. It's called Matters of the Cart. So here's the synopsis. Here says, after an old man wins Carl's dream cart, Carl wants to prove that he's worthy of the prize himself. So explain your thoughts on this episode. How do you think it's going to go?
Okay, in terms of Matters of the Cart, I just have to say this. Don't we have enough Carl episodes already?
No, we don't have enough. That's why we keep on making more Carl episodes.
No, come on. Like, honestly, like, it feels like, you know, in comparison to his siblings, like, Carl has way too many episodes. Like, we need more Carlota episodes. We need more Carlitos episodes. We need more CJ episodes, goddammit. Like, I feel like you're kind of shafting CJ just a little bit. Like, honestly, why do we need to have like 1/4 of the entire Casagrandes episodes be focused on Carl? I mean, what is this? The Carla Grandes? I mean, seriously.
Anything? Well, what are your thoughts on the episode itself? Not a Carl episode.
I kind of want to see how they executed, you know, in comparison to the other Carl episodes, because I really love How to Train Your Carl. I really love Monster Cash. Some others were okay. I kind of want to see where this lands. I kind of want to see who the old man is. Like, the old man could be anyone. Like, what if, okay, this is going to be a huge plot twist. What if the old man turns out to be Mr. Grouse?
Oh my God! Really? You're gonna bring a Loud House? You're gonna bring a Loud House person to come in here? Although we've been waiting to have like another Loud actually appear in the Loud House in the Casagrandes, but you want to have Mr. Grouse out of all of a sudden?
because think about it. Like, if it was, say, Hector or Vito, it would have said outright that it's Hector or Vito. But since it says an old man, it could be anyone in the LoudCasa verse.
I just feel like it's just any random old man. So it could just be a random old man that like won the card that Carl wanted. So I would imagine like Carl going to the old man and say, "Hey, I want to fight for your card. You don't deserve this." So they have like their own racing competition or something like that. That's the reason why like that pizza cart that you see over the preview, it's from that pizza guy. It's from the pizza restaurant, I believe. Like, you know, the guy who makes that pizza that they always go to. So
Yeah,
I would
Coach,
imagine
yeah.
So I would imagine that pizza guy is probably going to be a person that is going to be of interest or going to be a factor in this episode. Maybe like he makes a cart for Carl that he would race to beat the old man and get the cart that he deserves, or maybe that could be his cart. I don't know. It's more of a racing thing. I don't expect to see like other Casagrandes actually popping up in this episode, unfortunately. Maybe some help from Ronnie Ann, maybe some help from Bobby, maybe some help from like Carlota or something like that. But to say the least, this is another Carl episode, and you're right, we have too many Carl episodes. I don't know why, but don't worry about it. There's actually going to be more episodes coming out that are going to be promising. We have a Carlito episode coming out, which we never had in so long, by the way. We have a Sadonican episode coming out, by the way. That's coming out at the end of the month.
Yes. More
Break anniversary, end of the month, by the way. Please, y'all gotta watch out for that one. Sadonican is back. I think they're really gonna bring Lincoln into the Casagrandes. I really am wondering what they're doing with this here, the Casagrandes. All right. That's pretty much it. Unless you have anything else you want to say.
Yes. I just have to say, you know, like I really like Carl, but you know, for God's sake, you know, just take a break from focusing on Carl and just focus on his siblings. Thank you.
Yeah, we need more siblings episodes besides Carl, but who knows what they're going to do. All right, that's pretty much it for our LoudCasa Talks mini episode. Thank you very much for listening in. I know it's been long, but then we have a lot of episodes to review, so hope you guys understand. Just remember, you can listen to our LoudCasa Talks podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts, on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can also check out our YouTube channel as well. We always do our recordings of the LoudCasa Talks here. So if you want to listen before we put it on to the streaming services, like, subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell button so you can be notified of when we come on next. So our next LoudCasa Talks episode will actually be this Sunday. We're going to be talking about Luann Loud and her future. So make sure if you're a huge Luann Loud fan, make sure you tune in for that one. And of course, the day after that, we're also going to be doing a special stream where we're going to be talking about the Amphibia True Colors special, because we loved Amphibia, and that finale we need to actually break down what the freak happened in that episode. Oh my God.
Yes, can't wait for that.
It's going to be something huge. And then of course, when the new episodes of the Casagrandes come out on Friday, we will have another review session again next Thursday at 8:00. Make sure you guys are here to check it out. Anyways, that's pretty much it for us here. Thank you very much for listening on this. Thank you for checking out the stream. My name is Nate.
And this is Omid saying, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for your support. And I'm just going to say this. And so, once again, the zoo is saved thanks to the power of K-pop. There, that's a little epilogue. And until next time, smell you later, navigators.